Hello everyone, welcome back to the workshop. So in this video we are going to be continuing our Forging in the Bathroom series. If you haven't seen the other videos in this series, you can check them out linked up in the description down below in a playlist format. So if you decide you want to take some of these designs and run with them and do them in your own home, you can. So we will be continuing on today, and today we will be making a towel bar. So thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you guys enjoy the video. Okay, first things first, let's go over some of the measurements. This is a 1/4 inch by 1 inch wide by 14 inch long piece of bar stock, mild steel. From one end, I have made a 4-inch cut, if you will, from the end. I have also marked from that another 3 inches and put a mark on one side of the bar. We will be forging down at that location, and then the rest of this equates out to about 7 inches of material, all to be drawn out into the actual towel bar itself. Now, like our other motifs, we're going to follow along that same vein of motif like I've been doing throughout the rest of the restroom series, so we will be continuing on with that. So let me give you some quick metric measurements as well. So I have a 100 millimeter long cut here, separated by 75 millimeters where the center punch mark is, followed by, again, 175 millimeters for the rest of this. And then, so you're running with 6 mil by 25 mil bar stock by roughly 350 millimeters long. So hopefully that will help those of you out there who need it in metric. If I got the numbers wrong, well, post it down in the comment section down below. There's always one person who says my measurements are wrong. And so we like to use freedom units around here if we can. Here in America. Anyways, all right. So the very first step in this process is I'm actually going to forge down and forge out this long length of bar here, because that's going to be the most intense amount of forging. So let's get it hot and do that. We'll find our center punch mark, half on, half off blows. You've got to hit this flat stock hard enough that your hammer blows go all the way through the piece. Take out any sort of cupping that you may have and work rapidly down the piece. The hotter that you keep this, the faster this will go for you. And the better off it will go for you as well. Get this straightened up. I'm done planishing it. We'll throw that back in the fire. All right, now we're going to go to the horn. This is just to help us expedite the forging. No need in spending a ton of time making it pretty at this stage. Get it back in the fire. Okay, now once we've drawn this out long enough to fit our purpose, we're going to go ahead and throw on a taper to the very end of this, and we're going to work on the finial end on this very outside end. It's a nice little taper right there. I'm going to hang it over the edge of the anvil, right where that taper ends. We're going to get it hot again. All right, now we're going to work at rounding it up behind that finial. So we're going to take the corners off. Then we're going to rock it nice and easy from side to side. It's going to ensure that we get a nice round section, cross section behind there. And we're going to just continue this rounding up for the entire bar, the entire length of the bar, before we move on to our next stage. It doesn't have to be perfectly round all the way up into the corner here, but we want it to transition out nicely up into the rectangular material. Okay, I'm going to go to the far side edge of the anvil. I'm going to aim for my little lobe there, just off to the side of center. I'm going to draw that material out into a nice lobe. Re-round that area up nicely. Hammer that nice and straight. There we go. Okie doke. We're going to bend one leg away, bend the other leg away, and then we're going to give them some arch out to just get them away where we need to be. Away from center line. Just so this way they're out of the way. Do the same with the other one. Get back in line. This takes a little bit of practice to learn to bend legs like this, but once you learn how to do it, it really is a super efficient way of getting a piece split like this and maintaining it to be fairly even. Again, we've got it split apart, so now we're going to work on driving down our points. All right, placing it right where the taper of my hammer ended. I'm using half on, half off blows over the hardy hole in the anvil. Just like as if I would on the other side of the anvil. If I was on the far side, I'd be using half on, half off. I'm just pretending the hardy hole is a half on, half off place, like it's the far edge of the anvil. And clean that up. Once we've got both sides done the same, we're going to take the corners off and start rounding and radiusing this into the flat. Going to work this into the part that's flat to where it just transitions nicely. Doesn't have to be perfectly round. Again, We just want it to take and transition nicely in this zone. The cleaner of a job you do forging this, the better off it's going to look for you. Just taking off the sharp back a little further. And it'll be radiused up towards the tip. Okay, out we go. Be aiming for that little lobe again. Trying to stay off the center of my bar. Just to draw out that lobe till it looks pleasing. Sweeten up or sharpen up the spine. Tighten my tip up a little bit. There we go, that's nice. And now it's ready for me to roll it out properly. So I'll heat it up and we'll get this bent now. All right, while it's nice and hot, we're gonna focus on getting our bend the tightest right in the tip. And then we're gonna start curving this right on around. Be sure not to land that little lobe. You do not wanna land that little lobe on the horn while you're bending this around. You wanna keep that, you wanna keep it tight, but you don't wanna bash it against the horn and leave a flat spot on your lobe there. Curl this in nice and tight. Make sure it's all ironed out nice and flat and looking good. The reason why we want this to have such a nice tight curvature in here is we want to really accentuate what we're doing with this top element. So we really want that to be nice and tight if we can. So now we'll go ahead and heat up this leg and start drawing it out more before we finish our little lobe on the end. Don't make the mistake of trying to draw out both lobes because you've thinned the material on here. You take a high chance of burning this off. So wait to do this until after you get your forging done. All right, once you've drawn it out long enough, or whatever your concept of long enough is, whatever looks good to you, go ahead and start rounding it up behind that leaf bloom. A little finial there. I'll turn it up the opposite way. Again, trying to just make a really nice look and transition. Back up and where it gets rectangular again. Then I just make sure it's round, right around where the little finial is. Again, looks nice and clean. I like it. I hope you like it too. Looks good. Okay, I'm going to support this. I'm going to drive that end over. That's going to give us kind of a nice little arc. At least I think it will. You can see that there. Now our next step will be to take and draw out this bloom, or I keep calling it a bloom, but basically draw out this little leaf bud or this little finial. We'll draw out that little lobe, so this way it looks like the others, and then we can curl that up as well. Now we're ready to go ahead and do like we've done before. We're going to work on just that end, trying to tighten it up here a little bit without bashing it onto the anvil surface. Kind of crane neck it down a little bit. And there you have it. There's the top finial. Now it's time to actually bend this away and turn it around into our bar. Okie doke, got it nice and hot again. And now we're going to go ahead and bend this away. Supporting it on the horn. I'm going to end up having to adjust this. And I'll probably have to take another heat. Okay, now that we've got that bent and hammered at a 90 degrees, now comes the fun part of bending this around. Now I'm going to use the bic here just to make it easier on myself so I can watch the profile develop as I go. If you don't have a bic, you can use the horn of your anvil, clearly. The only thing that you want to keep mindful of here is that this is supposed to go out from center line, turn around, and come back. So you want to start your bend at about 1/3 of that total distance. So you want to have 2/3 out away from you and then bend that around, because you're going to have to come back that 1/3 that you went out. So you went out 1/3, you'll have to come back 1/3 and then have 1/3 to go the opposite direction. So we will do that now. If you're not quite sure what 1/3 is, it's good not to go too sharp of a bend to start with until you can find out exactly what 1/3 looks like, what looks about right. So we're just a little over there, which is okay. I can take a little bit of that out just by hammering right in here and straightening out a little bit behind. And now we can drive that back. I'll go ahead and lay it down here. You should have about equal out both sides. Just like so. It's at this stage you want to do any sort of heavy scale removal, any scale that you may have built up by repeated heating of the piece to get it to this stage. It's a good time right now to go ahead and brush that up. and do any sort of tweaking to make sure that this thing's going to sit exactly the way you anticipate it doing. If it needs to be squared up in any way, shape or form, or something not quite sitting right, you need to figure out how to get that to sit appropriate for yourself. Take any twists or anything that you may have going on out of it, and make it suit your needs and what you need it to do. Any little bit of squaring, you could do most of this cold like this. It doesn't have to have a ton of heat into it or anything. And there you go. So now I let this cool, and I will drill 2 holes in this, and basically the project is finished. After I paint it, of course. Okay, everyone, so there you go. There you have it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this little series. Again, all of the videos will be linked up in the description down below in a playlist, so be sure to check that out with the other things that I have made in the past if you want to see all the different racks and different styles of things I have done for the bathroom there in the Forging in the Bathroom series. I would also like to take this time to say thank you to all of my channel members who make this content possible. I couldn't do it without your support, so thank you all so very, very much. And I hope that you all have a great rest of your day. So God bless each and every last one of you, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.